Welcome back, guys. This is the King Weaves here, and this is what if Naruto met the Sage of Six Paths earlier. Last time we left off with Naruto and Team 7 returning to the Leaf Village with Zabuza and Haku, and of course to become a Leaf Shinobi. And Naruto and Team 7 would actually go into 2 weeks of training on their own, individual training, to actually get ready for the tuning exams. Anyways, now 2 weeks later they meet up once again, and they're pretty strong. Naruto has mostly been training mentally, as he actually wants to talk to the Nantals once more, as he actually wants to fight the Nantals, to be honest, but he knows that he has little chance, as it's pretty hard for him to even connect with him right now. And anyways, now Naruto would continue training as per normal, but he would focus a bit more on his mental training. And anywho, now Naruto is mentally ready, physically prepared, everything, and he's quite smart as well. The first part of the exam would go pretty smoothly for Naruto, as he would pass easily, and Team 7 would pass even the 10th question, if you're going to leave or not. And anywho, now of course after this, Naruto and Team 7 would be given the Earth Scroll and be sent into the Forest of Death by Uncle, as she is the proctor for the second exam. After all of this, Naruto would still have to go to the bathroom, but he has to do it outside. So he tells his team that he'll be back in a second. You guys keep going, he'll catch up. Anyways, of course, this was the perfect moment for Orochimaru to attack. Although he didn't even know that Naruto was this strong, he just happened to attack when Naruto was actually away. Anyway, Sasuke would actually decide to fight him, as he stood no chance, first of all, and of course he did pretty well at first, but then Orochimaru started actually becoming serious, and he kicked him to the ground, and Sasuke realized, Sakura told Sasuke to run away, they have to get away, but Sasuke was like, no, I'm not going to lose to that dope, and as he says that, he stands back up. Anyways, of course, his jealousy is getting over him, and Orochimaru actually uses this to his advantage and asks him who is this person he's talking about, and Sakura says it's none of your business, and then Sasuke says Naruto Uzumaki, and of course Orochimaru is quite surprised, as he thought he was the dead last of the Rookie 9, as he barely passed apparently. But then of course Sasuke came in with the Chidori and a lightning blade, and tried to slice Orochimaru's head off with it, but he was far off, as Orochimaru was able to dodge faster than Sasuke even realized, and then actually bite him in the neck, and Sasuke falls to his knees, and Sakura comes to his rescue by kicking Orochimaru away, but Orochimaru starts laughing maniacally, and he was about to attack Sakura as well and kill her, to be honest, as he got pretty angry that she came out of nowhere. And Naruto arrives. This all took within 2 minutes, and Naruto finally arrived, and of course he actually took a bit more, because a snake actually swallowed him, and he had to get out of that. And Naruto comes in out of nowhere, roundhouse kicking. He actually poofs into he actually poofs in front of Sakura, and as Orochimaru was attacking him, Naruto just punches his face by actually lifting up his fist, and Orochimaru just actually approaches the fist and gets punched in the face without him even realizing. Naruto actually came out of nowhere. He didn't actually poof, there was no smoke, he just teleported there, as he used his body flicker to levels that have never been seen from him. But of course this is similar to Shisui Uchiha's one. But anyways, now of course now Naruto looks towards Orochimaru and says, you're the one who did this, right? And Orochimaru laughs again and says, so what if I did? And Naruto says, there are no rules in this test, so I guess if I kill you and take your scroll, we should be fine, right? And Orochimaru laughs even harder, saying that he won't be able to kill him. And just saying, they don't know this is Orochimaru, for the people who didn't get it yet. But anyway, now of course Naruto blitzes Orochimaru, and Orochimaru was actually surprised, as he wasn't able to react, and Naruto actually kicked him right in the face, and it is a pretty strong kick as well, and his nose actually broke and it was bleeding, and Orochimaru was confused on how fast Naruto really is, and then Naruto actually starts getting serious and pretty much takes off his coat, or his orange jumpsuit, and actually once he falls to the ground, it makes a thud noise as if metal hit the ground. And in fact, those were weighted clothes, and Naruto looked at Orochimaru with the intent to kill, as Orochimaru realized that Naruto was using weights, and this body wouldn't allow Orochimaru to achieve his maximum speed, but even so, he was able to match Naruto's speed without the weights, and Orochimaru was laughing as now that he actually knows Naruto's a menace pretty much. He wants to kill him, as he knows that in the future this will be a problem, as if he actually learns how to control the Ninetales or something similar to that, which is it's kind of possible, as there are perfect Jinchurikis in the world. He doesn't want to have this problem in his hands, and so he actually brings out Akuna and tries to slash Naruto's neck, but once he did, Naruto actually turned into lightning, as this was a lightning clone, and Orochimaru was able to escape the lightning pretty smoothly. But out of nowhere, Naruto comes in with a Rasengan and smashes it right into Orochimaru's face, sending him flying, and Orochimaru was about to attack again, but he realized that the body that he's in is actually dying at this point. It can't keep up anymore, and Orochimaru says, "You're very lucky. Next time I see you, you won't be so lucky. I will kill you, and I will feast upon your body." And as he says that, of course, he turns into snakes, and the snakes actually attack Naruto, but Naruto was able to kill them all. And anywho now, and of course, Orochimaru actually substituted himself with a bunch of snakes, and anywho now, Naruto and Sakura would be resting under a tree with Sasuke and waiting for Sasuke to wake up, as Naruto wasn't able to get the scroll in the end, because Orochimaru, apparently he swallowed it, which he wasn't aware of. And anywho now, of course, they got attacked by the Sound Trio, and here just saying, Lee didn't actually challenge Sasuke, as he didn't want to show any of his powers. And anywho now, of course, Naruto and Sakura got ready to fight, as Naruto actually blitzed their leader, I forgot his name, and anywho now, Naruto takes care of them pretty easily, takes the scroll and tells them to get out of here, otherwise they will die. Naruto will not have any mercy, and he looks at them with intent to kill once again, and they actually run away. But then Sasuke wakes up, and Naruto actually barely dodges Sasuke's punch, as Sasuke is quite fast. In fact, he's probably as fast as Lee in the original, but without the weights. And anywho now, but Naruto is much faster than that right now, although he's wearing his weights. Anywho, Naruto then actually asks why Sasuke is doing this, and then Sasuke actually laughs and says that there's power surging from him, and he attacks more until Naruto says, "Sasuke, that's enough." And as he says that, pressure starts hitting both Sakura and Sasuke, as Naruto is actually letting out quite a lot of killing intent or bloodlust or whatever. And anywho now, of course, Sasuke then gets chopped on the back of the neck, and he faints, and Naruto says, "I'm sorry, Sakura, I had to do it." And Sakura just then quite scared of Naruto at this point. She's just like, how much power do you have? And Naruto says, "Not much, it's just that I've been training quite a bit." And anyways, Sakura, Sasuke, and Naruto then head towards the tower, while Sasuke being carried by Naruto. And anywho, they tell Kakashi once they see him what happened. Kakashi says that he'll see after the next part of the exam, as it's soon, and he doesn't have the time right now. And they say it's okay, and Sasuke says it's alright, he can handle it for now. And anywho now, Naruto and Team 7 would still go into the preliminaries, and here Haku and Zabuto would be watching. Now, the preliminaries would go exactly the same as per normal, and except for 2 fights, and those 2 fights are, a few fights to be honest, but we all know Naruto is going to pretty much annihilate Kiba, as he's on a different league right now. And anywho now, Sakura would actually defeat Ino, and Neji would actually not defeat Hinata, as Hinata is actually quite strong, and here she's actually a bit more motivated as she wants to catch the attention of Naruto. She's seen Team 7 train and she's seen how strong they are, and she really wanted to catch the attention of Naruto. And anywho, Neji and Hinata knock themselves out, and well, they have a stalemate and it's a double knockout. And of course, as Hinata was well, coming up, Naruto actually congratulates her, saying that she's really strong. She's completely different from what he remembered her as. He remembered her as a shy little girl, but now she seems like a strong woman, and you know, she blushes at this. And Naruto is actually interested in Hinata right now, as she seems strong and she seems like a nice person. And anyway, now Kurenai sees this and she encourages well, the two, and she actually she now is a fan of the the Naruto and Hinata ship. And anyway, now of course the rest of the exam goes as per normal, and except what I meant by the fights go exactly, some fights go differently and some go pretty much the same, is that the outcomes become normal except for a few of them, like Sakura's and Hinata's. And Lee's and Gaara's fight goes exactly the same, just that Naruto actually jumps in to actually save Lee, as Gaara was about to crush his legs, and of course Naruto stopped the fight earlier before he could even do it, as he clearly then he actually shouted, "Are you guys blind or something?" Clearly he has intent to kill him. You should have stopped the fight way before. It was pretty obvious that Lee was going to lose, even with that gates thing he used. Now, take Lee to a hospital. He's injured. Luckily, we stopped it before he went any further. Of course, Gaara was quite pissed, and he's like, "Nah, I'm not having this," and he tried to attack Naruto, but Guy actually arrives, and Guy stops the sand, and he says, "That's enough now, both of you. Go back to the stands. I'll take Lee to the hospital." Anywho, now, the Chunin exams, finals are announced after this, and the 1 month training still happens, and here Naruto is actually not going to be training with he was going to be training with Kakashi, but Kakashi said that Naruto is actually quite good on his own, and Naruto understands that Sasuke needs him more, and he actually goes to Mikoto this one day, and Mikoto is actually just chilling in her home, and she welcomes Naruto in, and she asks why he's not training, and Naruto actually came here to ask her for training. Mikoto was quite surprised on why Naruto would ask her, and he actually asks her to keep this a secret from Sasuke and everyone else in the village. And Mikoto is quite surprised, as Naruto is actually telling her something, or a secret, of course she asks why her out of all people, and Naruto says that she's basically the only one, the person that actually cared for Naruto when he was young, and he remembers her quite well. And anywho, yes, Mikoto actually cared for Naruto after Kushina's death, as they were friends, and she knew Naruto, and secretly she actually used to go to Naruto's home, and the Hokage was aware of this, clean it up sometimes when he was a child. And Mikoto was surprised on how Naruto knew, and Naruto said, "One day you came when I was sleeping, but I woke up and I saw you." And anywho, now, of course, Mikoto treated Naruto as her own child, basically, and Mikoto said, "Alright then, what is it?" And Naruto actually says, please don't get startled by this," and as he says that, he activates his Sharingan, and Mikoto's quite surprised. She's first of all confused, as she doesn't remember anyone, or Minato or Kushina, of being Uchihas. And anyway, now of course Naruto explains that he doesn't understand why. Maybe it was in his family tree, someone must have he must have had an Uchiha ancestor or something like that, and it's all a lie, to be honest. But of course she understands, and it's plausible, and it could be that the Uchiha blood still remained, and of course the Uchiha blood still continued thriving, and Naruto just happened to have it. Maybe even one of his parents might have been able to use it one day, but that's all a lie. Naruto's been lying this whole time. And then now, of course, he will tell her the truth one day once he's ready. But now, for now, he has to make up the lie, because otherwise she won't believe that Naruto met the Sage of Six Paths one day as he was dying, because that's quite far fetched. Even I wouldn't believe that unless Naruto himself came from the Naruto universe. But anyways, now of course Naruto and Mikoto would train for 2 weeks, and Mikoto taught Naruto everything she knew. And Naruto actually naturally unlocked the Mangekyo Sharingan, and Mikoto was confused on how, and Naruto actually says, I don't know, but in reality it's because of the Sage of Six Path powers that the Sage gave him, and they're literally his eyes, basically. But anywho, now, his Sharingan. Naruto would then go on to train on his own and actually meet Jiraiya quite late here. Jiraiya was searching for him this whole time, and he found out that he was training with Mikoto Uchiha, and therefore now he'll be training with him. Of course, Naruto was more than glad to train with Jiraiya, and all the things that they did within a month, Naruto would do within 2 weeks here. He would learn the summoning jutsu. He would also learn how to, come in contact with the Nine Tails at this point, and he was quite grateful for this. And Naruto and the Nine Tails actually spent some time together talking. Of course, the Nine Tails says that he was actually blocking Naruto on purpose, although his own creator gave him the eyes, he will still, he still hates the Uchiha, as Madara did all that to him. And Naruto understands fully, and actually tells, actually loosens his seal and tells, the Nine Tails that, or Kurama, as remember, they know each other now, and I'm pretty sure Naruto knew him from before, but now, of course, he loosens the seal as the Nine Tails has more space to move around, and he's confused on why he did that. Naruto said that it's unfair that he's trapped in a cage. He would let him out fully, but all he can do is loosen the seal to a certain extent. He's not going to do the whole thing in case someone checks it, and loosening it a little bit, it's natural. The thing that probably I used a little bit of your chakra over time, and he understands because Jiraiya is there, and Jiraiya is trying to make him use a bit of the Nine Tails chakra, and the seal would loosen normally. And anywho, now, of course, Naruto and Naruto would then leave Kurama and says that one day he'll become strong enough to defeat him in a fight, and he'll be letting him out of the cage and let him roam free in his mind. And of course, Kurama smiles and says, that's a pipe dream, kid. The way you're going, probably you're never going to beat me. Of course, that's all a lie, as Naruto is quite strong. He's actually learning, he's quite close to actually, getting a good understanding of a wood release. And in the last few days of his training with Jiraiya, he actually learned how to self-heal, how to regenerate his own cells. And anywho, now, this would be the last thing he shows Jiraiya, as Jiraiya was quite surprised. And also, people know that Naruto has ice release. And anywho, now, Naruto would use the ice release quite often here in the next part of the exam. Anywho, Naruto and the Chunin exam final comes, and Naruto was heading towards the place until he actually saw Hinata waiting for him. Hinata actually then tells Naruto that she's going to be supporting him, and she hopes he wins. And Naruto actually hugs her, saying that, thank you, this is the first time someone's ever said that to me. And anyway, of course, Hinata's blushing, and she's probably dying inside right now out of embarrassment. But Naruto lets go and says that how about this, if Naruto becomes a Chunin today, she goes out on a date with him. And this is mostly because Naruto actually is interested romantically in Hinata. And anywho, now, after this, Naruto would then go into the Chunin exams, and after a while, Naruto's fight would come up, as it's the first one, and Naruto versus Sakura Haruno. Most of the odds were stacked against Sakura, but the odds were stacked against Sakura, but most of the villagers were supporting Sakura, as they didn't want Naruto to win. And anywho, now, the Hokage actually was really interested in seeing Naruto, as he actually checked on Naruto many times, and he was training quite a lot. And Naruto has told the Hokage about his Sharingan, as the Hokage is one of the people that Naruto trusts the most. And anywho, now, Naruto and Sakura would actually begin with a little bit of taijutsu, Sakura being a bit stronger than Naruto right now, as her punches packed a little bit more of a punch, if you know what I mean, and Naruto was actually holding back a lot. Naruto actually, I'll say he was using around 10% of his power right now, and not 10%, 10% of his, strength in taijutsu. And anywho, now, of course, Naruto and Sakura would now get serious, and Sakura tries to punch the living shite out of Naruto by using one of her powerful punches, but she misses as Naruto was able to dodge easily, and Naruto says, "I'm sorry, Sakura, but this fight is over," and Sakura is confused and she can no longer move. Haku actually smiles as his tips actually came in handy. Naruto actually got tips from Haku during this one-off training as well, and Haku would actually train Naruto in his days off, which was like 4 days in the past, 4 days in the past month, as he gets 1 day off a week, and for now, later he's going to get more, but anywho now. Of course, Naruto actually looked at Haku and smiled at him and gave him a big grin, and Sakura actually just gave up, as she knows that if she tries fighting Naruto a bit more, she'd probably, well, get hurt. And anywho, Naruto is not the type of guy to actually hurt his own teammate, but anywho now. Of course, Naruto and Sakura would go to the stands, and Naruto would actually sit next to Hinata. He was sitting actually next to Neji as well, and Neji gave Naruto a glare as but then actually smiled at him, and he said that, I always used to think that fate used to decide someone's destiny, and I always thought that your destiny would be to be a nobody, always be the dead last, and never do anything good in your life. But clearly I was wrong. You changed my mind, Naruto Uzumaki. You're someone who defeated fate and forged his own destiny. I admire you for that. And Naruto is actually quite surprised, as he didn't know he would change Neji by actually just doing nothing, pretty much just being himself. And anyway, he just smiles and says that it's fine, and well, that's what he's there for, to help others. And anywho now, of course, Neji smiles, and anywho, Sakura of course is sitting right behind them with Ino, and Ino actually says, "Hey Sakura, you may be able to beat me, but not Naruto, that's for sure." And she was joking with her, and Sakura just seriously says, "Hey, listen, it was a lost fight anyway. I had no chance from the very beginning. Even if Naruto didn't train this whole entire month, he would probably be able to destroy me. He didn't even try in this fight. In fact, he tried a lot more during the second part of the Chunin exams in the Forest of Death." And Ino was quite surprised, as she always thought that Naruto was like literally the weakest in Team 7, as he was like the dead last. But in reality, she was completely wrong. And Shikamaru and Shino would win their fights, as Shino would get a default win, as the Conqueror didn't want to fight, and Shikamaru would actually want to win here, as he wants to actually test his powers against his friend Naruto. And anywho now, Choji is actually just eating in the stands as he lost. And anywho now, of course, Gaara and Sasuke do begin their fight after a while, and Sasuke nearly being eliminated for coming hella late. And anywho now, the fight goes a bit different. Sasuke has the upper hand the whole entire time, and even when Gaara goes into his half Shikaku form, the fight was about to be stopped, but Sasuke said not to, and he was actually able to keep up with the half Shikaku Gaara, and keeping him in line and not allowing him to destroy anything or kill anyone. And anyway, of course, this was all fun and games until the Genjutsu actually dropped and everyone went to sleep except for a few certain people. Naruto actually woke up the people next to him and is said to be on high alert. This is an attack by someone, and he sees the Hokage actually, the Kazekage stand up and reveal himself as Orochimaru, and he looked very, very suspiciously very similar to the guy that he fought in the Forest of Death. Anywho, of course, Naruto actually sends a clone to help the Hokage, and here Sasuke sees that Gaara transformed into full Shikaku, and of course, he's taken away, and Sasuke follows him, and then he transforms into full Shikaku in the forest pretty quickly as well, and Sasuke is pretty much smashed into the ground. He gets slapped away, and some of his ribs are broken. Mikoto comes in and saves her son from being crushed by Shikaku's feet. And anyway, Shikaku glares at her and actually uses an air vacuum cannon, which was about to pretty much do some serious damage. And Mikoto was about to use her Mangekyo Sharingan and her Amaterasu. She has it too. She actually uses her Susanoo ribcage to protect herself, and Naruto comes in and says they should go away, they should leave. Sakura's actually waiting in the near the stadium. They apprehended the people that actually put the Genjutsu on, and Sakura can heal him. And anywho now, Naruto would fight Gaara and make amends with him by actually headbutting him and telling him that he'll be his best friend. If he has no one in this world, he'll be the first person in it, as he had no one as well, and he made friends. And Gaara is like him back in the days, and so Naruto wants to help someone who suffered just as much as him. Anywho, Gaara actually accepts Naruto as a friend, and Naruto actually, having a universal understanding, he actually goes into Gaara's mind and looks at Shikaku. Then the Naruto appears behind Naruto, although he's actually just a ghost of it. He's still in the cage inside Naruto, but he appeared and told his younger sibling to, he put his younger sibling in line, and Naruto said, "Hey, listen, next time you do this, I'd probably put a stronger seal on Gaara, and don't mess with Gaara anymore." And of course, he was actually quite intimidated by Naruto, as Naruto reminded him of someone, the creator. And of course, the Naruto actually says, "This boy is the next sage of Six Paths." As he says that, they both disappear, and Shikaku's left flabbergasted, as he could feel his father's powers in Naruto, and he actually just smiled and says, "Maybe this world isn't as bad. Maybe father didn't leave us to rot in this accursed world where there is only hate, suffering." Anyways, I'll go to sleep now. Anywho, of course, Gaara is taken back by Naruto, and he's actually healed by Naruto, as Naruto was actually able to heal Gaara thanks to his healing abilities, don't ask how. And it was mostly because of his universal understanding and how he saw Sakura doing it, and he basically broke down the jutsu himself and did it himself. Of course, Gaara's wounds were more severe, and he couldn't do all of it, and so Sakura had to take on the rest, while Naruto actually exchanged himself with his clone, and this was a jutsu he created. It's called Clone Exchange. And then the third Hokage was about to use, his Reaper Death Seal, but Naruto comes in and actually says, "Hey, old man, is it okay if I put a smoke screen up so no one can see this?" And the Hokage says, "Alright, I think I know what you're going to do." And anywho, now Naruto puts a smoke screen up so no one can see the actual fight, and then basically Naruto seals away both the not seals away both the other Hokages, as that was already done. But Naruto used the wood release to actually bind Orochimaru and pretty much squeeze him, and Orochimaru breaks out of it. Luckily, he's strong enough. And anyway, now of course Naruto blitzes him as the Hokage follows along, and the two tag team Orochimaru out of the smoke and pretty much corner him, and Orochimaru saved by the sound when Naruto actually activated his Susanoo last second. But of course, not many people saw it. Kakashi saw it though, and Kakashi and Mikoto saw it as they noticed Naruto using the Susanoo, and Kakashi was actually quite surprised that Naruto had some kind of ribcage jutsu. He didn't understand it, but as soon as Naruto turned to the Hokage, who was actually facing away from Kakashi saw Naruto's eyes going from red to blue, and he realized that was the Sharingan, and that was a different state of the Sharingan. It wasn't like the Futomori or anything, and it was the Mangekyo that he read about he actually heard about, not read about. And anywho, now, of course, he would question Naruto afterwards, secretly. But anyway, he would actually go to the Hokage and ask for information, and Naruto then would actually explain. And this happened within a day, and the Hokage actually wanted to retire at this point. He realized that he's no longer fit to be the Hokage. He's too old. Clearly, Orochimaru had the upper hand the whole time, and there are people even stronger than Orochimaru out there, and so he wants someone younger to be the Hokage, someone stronger who has a stronger will, or just as strong as him, because not many people have such a strong will as the third Hokage. And anywho, now, of course, that one person fits. There is a perfect person that fits that criteria, with a stronger will than the Hokage as well, and more stubborn than the Hokage. That is a drunk lady known as Tsunade. Naruto and Jiraiya do leave and to find Tsunade, and of course Itachi still attacks, and Itachi doesn't attack, but Itachi and Kisame are still in the village, and Kakashi gets put under the Genjutsu, and then they go after Naruto as they find out he's outside the village, and Sasuke follows along. Mikoto does kind of go with Guy as well, as she doesn't want her child to be in danger by his brother, but she knows that Itachi will do everything in his powers to protect Sasuke, and he won't hurt him. However, she still wants to go see Itachi as well. Of course, the fight with Naruto still commences, and Naruto is actually able to keep up with Kisame when he's suppressed, but Kisame goes all out for 1 second, and Naruto is nearly caught off guard, and his half his body is nearly cut off, but he gets a scar in his eye, not in his eye, but right next to his eye. And Naruto's quite pissed off as he then blitzes Kisame and uses a Rasengan with actually a wind release added to it. So he creates a vacuum Rasengan, which sends Kisame flying. And of course, Itachi is actually fighting Sasuke, and Naruto was about to intervene until, of course, Mikoto arrives. Mikoto actually arrives there before Guy does as well. And anywho, now, of course, Mikoto says, looks at Itachi and calls out for him, and Itachi just looks away. And with a tear in his eye, he actually goes towards Kisame as Might Guy and Jiraiya arrive. And Naruto sees him crying, and he wants answers. And anywho, now, of course, he'll find them out later on. And Naruto and Jiraiya do go off to find Tsunade as the other three. Sasuke is not put under the Genjutsu, fortunately, and as he was already put under it once and he was in a coma for nearly a few days, and anywho, as he wasn't as strong. But anywho, now, after this, Naruto does find Tsunade with Jiraiya, and Jiraiya and Naruto do convince her, as Naruto is actually able to, resemble resemble Dan, and of course Naruto reminds her of Naoki and Dan, and anywho, now, of course, she returns and she becomes the fifth Hokage. Also, Naruto actually begins training Konohamaru a little bit, and anywho, now, Naruto also does, before he goes for his 2.5-year training, as he was already planning on it, he does find out that Sasuke left the village. He's confused on what he just heard, as he drops his glass of water, as Shikamaru and the rest actually, come in to tell him, and he's like, where is he? I'll go get him. And of course, this all happened the night before, and they didn't find out Sakura was in there, and Sasuke was able to escape the village and leave. Of course, Naruto goes straight to Mikoto, and Mikoto is devastated as she's crying on the floor, as she now lost both her sons. And Naruto actually comforts her and asks why was Itachi crying? Well, we know why Sasuke left, and it was way too late. It's already been a day. Sasuke already went to Orochimaru, as that was the only way he could actually achieve ultimate power to defeat Naruto and Itachi. He doesn't want to kill Naruto, but he needs to be on the level of Naruto to defeat Itachi, as clearly Itachi is on a whole different level than Naruto right now. And he doesn't want to kill Itachi, he just wants him to suffer and bring him back to first get his answers, then send him to jail and let him rot in there. And anywho, now, but of course he needs more power. And anywho, of course, Naruto, Mikoto explains everything that happened, and Naruto punches the wall, as he was naive enough to not actually add 1 + 1. Why would Itachi leave his mother and his brother alive? But then again, he did kill his own father, which he was confused about, but he didn't have any context, so he couldn't really find out or make any more research. Of course, Naruto still goes on his 2.5-year training, as now his new goal is to return Sasuke to the village, and of course that's his main goal. Although Jiraiya does tell him that it's a fool's dream to go after someone that's already left the village, he's way too far gone, and Naruto tells him, he's always been called a fool his whole entire life, and he tells him that, I guess I'll remain a fool for the rest of my life, and that's what I will always do. And somehow it works out. He smiles at Jiraiya, and Jiraiya laughs, saying that I guess they're both fools, and as he always chases after Tsunade, and anyways, now, of course, they go off to train for 2.5 years, and I will cover that next part. I hope you'll enjoy it. Please stay safe. This also can go represent, and my ducklings, you're dismissed.